Welcome back to Utah Jazz News. Today we're diving into a hot topic that's been swirling around Salt Lake City. Should the Utah Jazz keep Collin Sexton for the long term or consider trading him? With the Jazz making moves to rebuild and compete in the near future, Sexton's future with the team is one of the key decisions that needs to be addressed. Let's break down the pros and cons of keeping this talented guard and see what's best for the Jazz moving forward. Collin Sexton had an impressive 2022-23 season and has established himself as one of the team's most dynamic players. After all the excitement surrounding Lauri Markkanen and his potential as a franchise cornerstone, the focus now shifts to what the Jazz should do with Sexton. He's under contract through the 2025-26 season, earning a fair $37.525 million over the next 2 years. But the big question remains, is Sexton the right player to keep alongside Markkanen and Utah's young core? Or should the Jazz look to trade him before his contract expires? In this video, we'll explore the pros and cons of keeping Sexton in a Jazz uniform long-term, and whether he could be a crucial piece in Utah's return to playoff contention. Let's start with the positives. One of the biggest factors working in Sexton's favor is that he likes playing in Utah. For a small market team like the Jazz, this is a huge win. It's no secret that Salt Lake City has a hard time attracting top-tier free agents, so having a player who's happy and motivated to play in Utah is a major asset. Sexton also brings a contagious energy and work ethic to the court. Jazz fans have seen firsthand how much effort he puts in every game. Hustle is something that's hard to teach, and Sexton sets a great example for the younger players on the roster. Over the last 2 drafts, the Jazz have picked up 6 players under the age of 20, and having a guy like Sexton as a role model could be key to their development. At just 25 years old, Sexton is entering the prime of his career. His stats speak for themselves: 48.7% from the field and 39.3% from three-point range in the 2023-24 season. That's impressive for a player who generates much of his offense through self-creation. Sexton's efficiency has improved since he arrived in Utah, and he's become a reliable scorer that can fill up the box score on any given night. Another major pro is that Sexton has stayed healthy. Injuries were a concern in the past, but last season, he only missed 4 games. In a league where load management has become the norm, Sexton's willingness to suit up night in and night out is refreshing. His durability makes him a valuable asset in a team that's developing its young core and striving to build chemistry. Now, let's consider the other side of the coin. Is Sexton worth a long-term investment? While he's currently on a team-friendly deal, his next contract will likely come with a significant pay raise. Can the Jazz afford to keep him, especially with other young players waiting in the wings? The Jazz have several young guards who could step up, most notably Isaiah Collier, their first-round pick out of USC. While it's too early to say if Collier can fully replace Sexton, he's got the skill set to eventually fill that role. If Collier develops quickly, the Jazz might be able to save salary cap space and use Sexton's trade value to bring in other assets or draft picks. Another point to consider is timing. The Jazz are in the midst of a rebuild, and while Sexton would certainly add wins to the bottom line, would those wins hurt their chances of landing a top draft pick? The 2024 NBA Draft is expected to be loaded with talent, including potential franchise players like Cooper Flagg. Trading Sexton could help the Jazz secure a top 5 pick in what might be a generational draft class, giving them a better shot at long-term success. Finally, let's talk about Sexton's trade value. Right now, his stock is high, but that might not always be the case. We've seen this before with Jordan Clarkson, who went from being 6th man of the year to having inconsistent performances. If the Jazz wait too long to trade Sexton and his performance declines, they could lose out on valuable return. Striking while the iron is hot could be the best move for the franchise's future. So what's the verdict? Should the Jazz keep Collin Sexton or trade him while his value is still high? Personally, I think the Jazz should try to keep Sexton for the long haul, provided they can work out a reasonable contract extension. He's still entering his prime, has improved every season, and brings a positive attitude and hustle that can't be undervalued. Yes, there's a risk that Sexton's next contract could be costly, But having a player like him who wants to be in Utah can serve as a leader for the younger guys and is a proven scorer is something the Jazz should capitalize on as they look to build a playoff-caliber team around Markkanen and their young talent. Keeping a versatile, durable player like Sexton could pay off in the long run. That's my take, but I want to hear from you. Do you think the Jazz should keep Sexton or look to trade him? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Utah Jazz News for more updates, analysis, and insider info on your favorite team. We've got a lot of exciting content coming up as the season gets closer, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Jazz.